What's good, y'all? It's your boy Sean Peter Blunt Guy. Hey! And today we are here for another reaction stream. And we will be reacting to YouTuber Threevil. Reacted to a bunch of his videos before, right? And the title of today's video is Law's Secret Agenda created the most insane theory in One Piece. But before we get into that, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Follow me on Twitch to catch these live streams. Also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And join the Discord. Also comment below. Let me know what you think of the video in my reaction. But yeah. There's a very common thing going on around that Law is not such a nice guy or has some secret agenda going on. You know, now I don't have my own theories for this, so I'm not even going to speculate. We're going to get right into it because I'm curious. I need somebody to explain this whole Law's secretive thing. I think a few people in the Discord have been telling me like, yeah, I think Law is, he's hiding something. And I do kind of agree. I think, Law is hiding something. We had Randy Troy pretty much say how Law might be a sword member, all these things. So it's just so many different things of Law's true agenda. People don't trust Law, but let's see why Threevil doesn't trust Law either. Let's get into it. Link to this video will also be in the description box.
The Surgeon of Death, Law, has to be one of my favorite characters in all of One Piece. From his badass and drippy character design, to his completely broken and overpowered devil fruit, to his tragic yet engaging backstory, it's clear that Law is one of the best and most important characters in the entire story of One Piece. But one underappreciated aspect of Law is the darkness surrounding his character, as well as his secret motives. Today I'm going to teach you what Law's future in the story holds, as well as why he's connected to none other than Blackbeard. I promise you this is one of those videos where your head just starts to spin.
Law connected with Blackbeard. Those are some heavy words. I'm gonna need to be convinced that he's connected with Blackbeard. I'm gonna definitely need to be convinced, because we've seen a lot of Law's life, and I don't think Law and Blackbeard's paths ever really intersected. Because we seen him from a kid. We know that he was with Doflamingo a lot of the times. So it's like, when did he have a chance to really connect with Blackbeard in any way? But I'm going to give Threevil a chance to speak his piece. So let's continue.
All the dots start getting connected, and you never look at the story the same ever again. But to really understand Law's dark side and what his secret motives are, we have to question all of these red flags surrounding his character. First of all, what's the big deal with the 13-year time gap in his storyline? From the moment he eats the Ope Ope no Mi and Corazon dies, up until he emerges as a pirate at Sabaody, what has he been doing? Has he been working with Marines? Has he been with Blackbeard? What was he doing this whole time? Law's a very prominent character in the story. He's very methodical. He's the reason Doflamingo and Kaido went down, at least as long as a plan goes.
I mean, dang, you could like almost you could make speculations on almost anybody based on the gap of, like, we don't know nothing about Kid, right? what has Kid been doing from the time we never even get a flashback from Kid? At least we get a flashback from Law, so we kind of know where his head is. Even though there is a gap between his flashback to him being a pirate, we at least get some of his backstory. We don't got nothing on Kid. It's almost like you could speculate anything on Kid or any other supernova.
So there's no way we're gonna end the story of One Piece not knowing what happened in that 13-year gap. Another red flag about his character is his whole secret code name of Water. This was passed through his lineage, passed through his family, and it was never fully explained why that was the case. Oda tried to infer that it was something special given the flashback that he had, into which Oda just completely diverts the conversation. He is implying there is a dark secret about Law that we have yet come to find out. And shout out to other One Piece creators and theorists such as Marshall D. Preach. He made a video on why Law is the moon god god, and I think there are so many awesome, strong arguments for that case. Regardless if that theory is true or not, there's great points presented, but we need to start focusing on the name Water within his family name.
I think Blackbeard is the moon god, you know, because he's like Luffy's opposite. So I think Blackbeard is the moon god. I don't know about Law. Like I would have to hear that theory, because like I don't really see Law being the moon god. Blackbeard makes sense, you know. Plus he has a darkness fruit, which can be somewhat associated with the moon to a degree. You know, the moon, we see the moon during the night darkness, you know, the day, sun, you know, sun god, day, light, darkness, moon, night. So, I don't know.
Why is that such a secret code name along with the D? Why is Law hiding that? And another red flag. Sure, Law wanted to take down Doflamingo for selfish reasons given his backstory. But why did he want to take down Kaido? When Luffy met Law at Punk Hazard, that was the first thing Law said. Let's create an alliance to take down Kaido. But why?
I attribute that to, like, Law is a supernova at the end of the day. He wants to become Pirate King, you know, or probably wants to become Pirate King. I don't know. Again, I don't know all of Law's true motives, but I'm pretty sure he knows that he's aware that Luffy wants to become Pirate King. And in order to become Pirate King, you got to go through the Yonko. So his motives at the time, I think, were more solely centered around Doflamingo. But he had to sell getting his revenge. He had to sell it as in, like, look, this could benefit you if we go after Kaido, the Yonko. But ultimately, you could say that he was after Doflamingo. Because if he would have said, hey, let's take down Doflamingo because I have a personal grudge, that wouldn't have went over most people. Like, a lot of other people would have been like, I'm not trying to deal with your personal vendettas and grudges. So he had to package it in a way like, hey, let's take down Kaido, the Yonko, you know, because we both have to go through him to become Pirate King, you know. So it made sense that he sold Luffy on Kaido versus Doflamingo. Also, Kaido also backed Doflamingo. So when he took down Doflamingo, it was going to incur Kaido's revenge. So when he got revenge on Doflamingo, he was going to get the attention of Kaido. And they was eventually going to have to fight Kaido anyway. You know, plus, even though Law's goal was to get that revenge for Doflamingo, I think he still does want to try to become Pirate King as well. I think at the end of the day, he was willing to settle with getting his revenge on Doflamingo as long as he could get it. But after passing Doflamingo, it was like, okay, I settled my debt. I settled my revenge. Now, let me find a new goal, which was Pirate King. Maybe he didn't think he would live to even accomplish becoming Pirate King with his rivalry with Doflamingo.
Kaido, especially the sequence of events of how they went to Dressrosa, took Doflamingo down, but Law decides, hey, let's continue to Wano and take Kaido down like how we originally planned, like how this alliance first started. There's a deeper reason than just, oh, Doflamingo, as to why he decided to take down Kaido, and we're going to explore that throughout this video. But just keep that in mind. All of the reasons people will tell you as far as why Law decided to target Kaido, the world's strongest creature, and take him down, I believe this all stems from the concept of Law being the 10th Titanic captain of the Blackbeard Pirates. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to hate this and immediately click off the video.
That's a bold claim right there. That is a bold claim. I'm willing to, you know, we're going to hear Threevil out, though. That's what we're here for. We're going to hear him out. It's not so far. It's not a theory I really could get behind. But I believe in Threevil. I really do believe in Threevil to package this theory up in a convincing way, because Threevil hasn't really disappointed me yet. I mean, I don't always agree with his stuff, what he says, but I can get behind some of his logic You know, even with the stuff I don't necessarily agree with. I can I do find a lot of his theories reasonable. Hey, he says what's his name? Sakiaki Koski was still alive. And he was right. So he was right about that. So I gotta give Threevil the benefit of the doubt.
Video without any legitimate counter arguments, but that's fine. To those of you who continue watching the video, I'm sure there's a lot of things that are starting to click in your mind. You're starting to draw a lot of conclusions. You guys are seeing where I'm going with this. So one of the biggest mysteries in the story of One Piece is Blackbeard. Why does he have multiple devil fruits? Well, we know from Marineford when he ended up finishing off Whitebeard, he decides to eat the Gura Gura no Mi and has a second devil fruit. Into which Marco responds, oh, that must be because of Blackbeard's weird body. Now this is an instance where the author Oda is talking through a character trying to give you a hint as to the conclusion for why he has multiple devil fruits. I know in the past I did explore options as far as him eating devil fruits that alter his body, but I'm led to believe nowadays that he has a different body because he has a different body. And who other than Law would be a great person to alter his body? All throughout the story, Law was capturing hearts at the Rocky Port incident. He was switching hearts around at Punk.
Hold on. Blackbeard was always different though. Even as a kid now, unless like I don't like how old is Blackbeard? Cause I think Blackbeard is older than Law. I think. I don't know. Somebody let me know in the comments if you guys know the ages. How old is Blackbeard and how old is Law? Cause I think Blackbeard might be older than Law. And if that's the case, Blackbeard, yeah, I would think so. Cause Blackbeard joined Whitebeard around the time that Odin was still alive. And I think Law is probably around Luffy's age, maybe younger. I don't know. So Blackbeard is like around Shanks' age, if I remember correctly. He's around Shanks' age, so he's a little older than Law. He's much older than Law. I just don't know Law's age, honestly. But Blackbeard has always been a little different body-wise. You know, like back when Buggy and Shanks was talking about Blackbeard and they was like, hey, have you heard? He don't sleep. You know, that guy right there, the black guy. He don't sleep. So to me, that leads me to believe that Blackbeard has always been different way before Law came into the picture. So I don't know if I want to attribute his body being different to Law.
Hazard. Law is an operation man. He is a doctor, and I guarantee you he played some kind of role in Blackbeard's weird body, allowing him to have multiple devil fruits. Now I know a lot of you guys will say, no, that's not possible. He was born different. He was always having a different body. Well, I would just simply counter argue that in Odin's flashback, when we saw young Shanks and young Blackbeard, how they talked about Blackbeard never sleeping, I don't think that has anything to do with him having multiple devil fruits. And this is because during the Drum Island arc, Sanji mentions how people from Snow Country.
I get it, but it still is kind of a foreshadow that Blackbeard is a lot different. He's different than normal people. You know, yes, Threevil is right that it doesn't, just because they said how he was different, that doesn't mean it automatically equals to why he can have multiple devil fruits. But it is still kind of a clue that yes, maybe he's always been different. You can't just like say, well, it's not the case. You know what I mean? Because it was already foreshadowed like from the time he was a kid that he's always been different. You know, yes, Threevil was right, but yeah, it's not something you could just gloss over either, is all I'm saying. Threevil has a point that, you know, just because he was different as a kid doesn't mean that equaled him to being able to have multiple devil fruits, but it doesn't also not equal to him having a different body to being able to eat multiple devil fruits.
Never sleep. So if anything, I think Oda's implying that Blackbeard's from a snow country, not that he has multiple devil fruits, and that has something to do with not sleeping. And what makes matters worse is if you think him never sleeping has something to do with multiple devil fruits, then you'd probably infer that all people from snow countries that never sleep can eat multiple devil fruits. I don't think that's the route Oda's going down. I don't think that's how he's trying to depict and handle.
I don't know. Chopper's from a snow country and he sleeps. I don't think everybody from snow countries can't sleep. You know, like, and I don't think the people of Chopper's country never slept, or I believe that they slept. Probably that it never been implied that they didn't ever sleep, and they're from a snow country as well. Chopper's home, like his island that he came from. So I don't know. I don't know.
Blackbeard throughout the story. Blackbeard breaks the rules, he cuts corners. Blackbeard's an individual, one singular person breaking this whole 2 devil fruit rule thing. If you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell because our goal is 30,000 subscribers and we're almost there. Another thing that Law alters in the story as far as being the 10th Titanic captain is the poneglyphs he's collecting. All throughout the story, Blackbeard is targeting devil fruits, he's not really going after the poneglyphs. So seeing how he's such a methodical, strategic, corner-cutting man, why would he himself go after poneglyphs when he could just make Law go after them and Law can pass them over at some point in time?
Okay, that's a better argument right there. Like, nah, okay, that's kind of a good argument. Like, maybe because I've been saying that Blackbeard needs the poneglyphs as well if he's going to become Pirate King. If he's trying to find the One Piece, he needs the poneglyphs. But it hasn't seemed like he's been actively looking for him. You know, I thought he was going to be in Wano partially to get the poneglyphs, and he hasn't been to Wano. So, okay, you know, I think now I'm kind of seeing that there is more to this theory than maybe have met the eye at first. But let's continue. See, this is why I like Threevil. Because even when I completely disagree with him, he turns it around. Let's go.
And just to quickly revisit how Law has a 13-year time gap, I find it interesting that Blackbeard has a 22-year time gap. Both of you, what were you guys doing? If anything, that opens up a huge possibility for them crossing paths and having some kind of alliance.
I mean, there's a lot of time gaps that we could talk about, though. We don't know nothing about, like, kids past up to now, nor do we know about Apu's past to now. That's like a bunch of gaps that, you know, that has not been filled in yet. So, but I'm just saying.
Some kind of conversation at some point. If I told you, hey, during that 22-year gap where we know nothing about Blackbeard in the Whitebeard Pirates, I think he met Shiki. A lot of you guys would think, that's kind of random. Why would that happen? There's no proof. When in fact, in chapter 0, we see Shiki cross Blackbeard's path. I think for someone methodical, strategic, and important like Law to be in the story, he could easily cross the path of Blackbeard, and he could create a relationship. And seeing how Blackbeard is older than Law, we could have another parallel between Luffy and Blackbeard. We have red hair Shanks influence Luffy, and then we have Blackbeard influence Law. I definitely think this is a direction Oda would go given all the inversions, parallels, all the ties he draws between characters. To me, Shanks influencing Luffy is a lot like Blackbeard possibly influencing Law. And you could take it a step further because Luffy and Law did end up working together as partners in crime to take down Kaido. I find it interesting that Law would be influenced by Blackbeard, sort of playing both sides. Another interesting thing to dive into is actually the ancient weapons. Over and over again, we see how Luffy and Blackbeard are two sides of the same coin. One loves cherry pies, one hates orange soda. This is very deliberate in Oda's storytelling. Now, to have two guys run for Pirate King, Luffy never caring about ancient weapons, I can see how someone like Blackbeard would care about ancient weapons. And a lot of people will say, oh, it's Caribou talking to Blackbeard about the ancient weapons. Well, I would have to question why Blackbeard hasn't made a move on Poseidon, but the One Piece community at large thinks
I think Blackbeard hasn't made a move on Shirahoshi because he doesn't feel as though it's time. Matter of fact, we don't know what he was talking about when he said, oh, it's time to get what the world government has been neglecting or whatever. I can't remember the exact quotes he said. Maybe that means he's going for Shirahoshi at this point. I don't know. You know, we know Blackbeard is making some move. It's either, I don't know if it's the poneglyphs, but it could be the ancient weapons.
Blackbeard's actually gonna go for Pluton. But why use Caribou for that? Caribou's a weak man. He doesn't hold up in any type of fights. Why have Caribou talk to Blackbeard about Pluton? Caribou can simply talk to someone like Crocodile who's already shown interest in the ancient weapons.
But does Law know about Poseidon? Like, Law was there to know about Pluton, but Law doesn't. I don't know if Law knows about Poseidon. He didn't come into the story as far as being an ally with Straw Hats till after Fishman Island. Caribou was there for Poseidon.
And instead, Oda can have someone like Law work with Blackbeard with the ancient weapons. Given how Law knows where Pluton is, he was with Robin and Sukiyaki underground Wano, he can pass this information down to Blackbeard. And with Blackbeard being the second side of the coin of Luffy, it would make a lot of sense for Blackbeard to find and utilize these ancient weapons. And also seeing how Blackbeard has the Gura Gura no Mi, the Tremor fruit, he can knock down the borders of Wano to unleash Pluton and get—
I did say that. I said like Blackbeard is capable of getting Pluton. I said that. Hey, Threevil, we right here, man. We right here, bro.
It for himself. This is definitely an approach Blackbeard would take instead of going to Alabasta, reading the poneglyph, then going all the way to Wano and finding Pluton. He can simply talk to Law, you know, the man who altered his body. And honestly, from a personality aspect, Law could relate with Blackbeard a lot. There was a time where Oda drew all the warlords as children, and the picture that he drew with Blackbeard had Blackbeard underneath the moon crying. And looking back to how he joined the Whitebeard Pirates and how he was begging and crying to do so, I'd be led to believe that Blackbeard had a really traumatizing childhood just like Law. Through Law's flashback, everyone around him was dying and he grew to hate the world. A lot of people will try to tell you, oh, Law became a good guy because of Corazon. That's not entirely true. Law held a lot of hatred and a lot of remorse against the world killing off his family and everyone around him. Corazon was a good person there for him, showing him love, but I don't think that shapes Law into a good person. So honestly, I could see Law wanting to seek revenge against the world, probably like Blackbeard. Both of these kids had traumatizing childhoods and now they want revenge on the world. They want to take over the world. And seeing how Blackbeard has an age advantage over Law, I probably fueled the fire and made it even worse, making Law an evil person, or at least a methodical evil person. When you have moments of Law saying he wants to kill as many people as possible and destroy everything, to me that sounds like someone that would work with Blackbeard. That, coupled with the fact that he is no longer in an alliance with Luffy, I don't see why he would be a good guy and not be against Luffy in the future. And a pushback some people will probably give to this whole argument of Law being the 10th Titanic captain is that Law and Luffy are friends, which isn't entirely true. Over and over again, Law told Luffy they're only working together to take down Doflamingo.
Yeah, I wouldn't make that argument, you know. Even though I don't think Law is like, I think Law and Luffy, like Law has warmed up to Luffy. I personally don't see him as enemies to that degree of him being part of Blackbeard's crew, but I do know Law has his own goals that, you know, he's not trying to work with Luffy and all that. So, you know.
And Kaido, they're not friends like that, which is why in recent chapters, Law told Luffy, the next time I see you, I will fight you. And to which Luffy responded, okay, like clearly these guys are not on the same field, they're not working together, they're not friends, meaning that Law is now an antagonist. So to have this antagonist Law work with another antagonist Blackbeard, there's no narrative issue in that. And throughout the alliance that Luffy and Law have,
I kind of looked at that as them being rivals, you know, like Kid and Luffy is rivals. You know, like it's just a rivalry. They're all fighting for the same goal, you know? So yes, they'll be enemies, but I don't see that as like strictly as like they can't ever work together again or anything, or they'll never cooperate or anything. But just saying, you know, I don't think that automatically just bumps him to being Blackbeard's subordinate.
a lot of fans of One Piece thought that Law was gonna betray Luffy. You have instances where the Straw Hat crew asks Law at Punk Hazard if they're gonna betray him, and he just nonchalantly says no. And you also have moments like chapter 955 where Oda is depicting that it's Law giving information to Orochi, in which Orochi tells Law, you are untrustworthy. Time and time again, there are so many red flags surrounding Law, like he is up to something, he is up to no good. And another interesting tie between Law and Blackbeard is it seems both of them are into research, they're both into history. We see this with Law saying he wants to learn about the checkered fate, the poneglyphs, the real history, and then through an SBS, Oda says that Blackbeard's hobbies include historical research. It seems like to me that Law and Blackbeard have way more in common than Law and Luffy. And just because at one point in time Law worked with Luffy, I don't think that matters to the character of Law, and character would rather work with Blackbeard in the grand scheme of things. Now I want you to actually recontextualize the story as Law being the 10th Titanic captain. Law was used as a man to be a partner in crime with Luffy, and the whole whole post-time skip of taking down Kaido, which interestingly enough, he wasn't actually working with Luffy, he was working with Blackbeard to eliminate some of the competition. Seeing how Law is a member of the D-Clan who's interested in a checkered fate, it would make a lot of sense for him to work with Blackbeard, another member of the D-Clan, who's surrounded by people who are obsessed with fate. It's definitely within Oda's style to have a character like Law have a double identity, to be a double agent in some kind of sense. And it's interesting to see how Law doesn't want to work under Luffy, but probably would work under Blackbeard given how he's methodical and strategic just like himself. If Law believed in Blackbeard becoming Pirate King and telling Law about the checkered fate and the whole true history, I think that would motivate Law to work with Blackbeard. And the icing on the cake to answer one of the biggest mysteries, why does Blackbeard have multiple devil fruits? Oda could present Law, this doctor, this guy with operation abilities, using his ultimate devil fruit to change Blackbeard's body, allowing him to have this massive advantage. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching.
Alright. Give my man's Threevil a like. I did like the theory though. I did like the theory. I will say that. I'm not completely sold on it, but I will say this. The part where he kind of starts selling me on is the fact that Blackbeard hasn't really been actively getting the poneglyphs. Now we know that Blackbeard has big goals, and it's probably going to culminate at trying to find the One Piece or at Laugh Tale with Luffy possibly, right? So that being the case, how is Blackbeard getting these poneglyph copies? And how is he able to translate them, right? I think Blackbeard will get to Laugh Tale, but he hasn't actively been like trying to get to Laugh Tale by finding these poneglyphs. So Law being that guy who has been with the Straw Hats in finding each of these poneglyphs, except I think Fishman Island. I don't know if he's been able to get a translated copy of Fishman Islands. Or no, there wasn't a poneglyph. I'm sorry, there was, but it's not there. So he was there at Zoe. He was there at Wano. I'm trying to think where the other poneglyphs are. Where's the third poneglyph? I'm trying to remember. Whole Cake Island. He wasn't at Whole Cake Island though. He wasn't at Whole Cake Island. So unless the Straw Hats gave him a copy from Whole Cake Island, and Robin translated all of these poneglyphs for Law, that's the only way I can really see, then I can honestly say that if he is working for Blackbeard, that wouldn't make sense. That Blackbeard got these poneglyph copies through Law. That, to me, that is the most telling. That's to me, that is the strongest argument that I got from the video. Like the whole Law changing his body, that could have been the case as well. But I think it was kind of hinted that Blackbeard already had a different type of body. Could be wrong. Again, I could be wrong. Maybe he just didn't sleep. Maybe that was always the case. Maybe his ability to have multiple devil fruits came later. You know what I mean? Based on Law. That is very well possible as well. I don't know. I don't know if I fully believe that, because it was always kind of hinted since he was a child through Buggy and Shanks that he was different than normal people, and we don't know this 10th Titanic captain. I bring Zebek. Maybe they're trying to bring back Zebek, but I can also be very wrong at that. That's kind of my own fan canon, so it is what it is. But if we're looking at it as being more realistic and it just being a separate character, I don't know who else it would be. I don't think he'll be Aokiji. I don't think it'd be Caribou, even though I think Caribou was kind of that person who's talking about like he needs to talk to Blackbeard. I don't think it's Caribou as a 10. I don't think Caribou's strong enough. Also Law is also rivals with Luffy. He never planned on being actual partners with Luffy. So I think there are some convincing arguments made in this video. I don't fully agree with it yet, but I'm not, I don't think it's a bad theory. I think Threevil is some convincing arguments. It's pretty good theory. Pretty good theory. But yeah, that's all I really got for it though. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Also subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Also comment, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the theory. Do you believe that Law is the Titanic captain? Or are you with me? Or are you just kind of like, I don't know, kind of on the fence, right? Or do you just flat out like not like nah, Law is not the 10th Titanic. That's all BS, whatever. Let me know in the comments. Also, follow me on Twitch if you want to catch these live streams as they are live. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And also, the link to this video will be in the description box below with all my other social medias. So make sure you guys go show Threevil some love. Go show me some love on my other social medias. I would really appreciate it. And again, leave a comment. Anyway, it's your boy Sean P, the Blunt guy, and I'm out of here. Peace.